Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
See, that's what happens, man. You drink enough, and
I like
any
it.
podcast can sound good.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like
That's sort of what we've been doing. I mean, honestly, otherwise I haven't done much of anything. I've read a bunch of books, novels, nothing rip-roaring. I don't know if you saw the other day, we got picked up in
I saw
Globe and
that
Mail.
in the Globe and Mail. That's pretty sweet.
I know. You know, the thing is, though, I think I talked to this girl 2-3 months ago,
Yeah.
and I reached out to her a couple weeks ago. So, listen, I haven't seen your goal. What are you thinking? Do you want any more information? Whatever.
Yeah.
And no big deal. And then I go,
Yeah.
I don't know what I was searching for,
Yeah.
and it's like a month old.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, why didn't anybody tell us?
Yeah. We should. Yeah. That's really cool though. So you got.
Well, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a Globe and Mail. I mean, it's not like it's a.
No, it's not little. It's not little.
Yeah, I mean, it's a national newspaper. What the hell, right?
It's got distribution, everything like that. I think what we
Well,
need to do is we'll have to get some legs behind it. So we should stage a bunch of reshares. So if you talk about it, and then maybe This Commerce Life can talk about it, and then I'll talk about it at some point. Do you know what I mean? Like, but not all at once. And do it like over the next, you know what I mean? Like, you're away, so
Yeah.
if I do it, and then I do it twice from two different sources over the next week or so, and then you do it when you get back, like, you'll kind of have taken 3 cracks at being able to get some extra legs out of that article. Do you know?
Well, I think we should do that. And again, it's the same thing that we, it's. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is again because we've been talking so much about social media, making sure that people understand what we're trying to tell them is the same thing. So people do get, let's say they get lucky and the local newspaper picks them up. Like, grab the article, throw it on your social media feeds, and then get a few friends to share it, because it all adds up, right?
Yeah, and I think the thing there is, so there's kind of like, you can be really strategic about this. So if it's a really big deal, you could have everyone, kind of pile on. So you can almost do, like, if you're doing it on LinkedIn, you could do like a Twitter party and have everyone pile on. So it's almost like you orchestrate a little bit of, hey, Kenny, you're going to post it, and then I'm going to jump on it. And then, maybe you reach out to some friends and you go, hey, listen, when you see me do this, pile onto it too, and then, see if we can get it to go viral. Or the other way to do it is to share it independently, but do it at 3 different times. So then what you get is, like, you spread it out, and then you get more PR, right? So just depends on what you want to do, but both of those are really good for being able to get a ton of mileage out of these things. Yeah.
But I think people should be looking at it that way. I think the whole trick is you should be doing it because that is the mileage.
Yeah.
Like, you take it.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that doesn't happen every day. When you get it, do it. And it might sound a little sort of contrived or whatever, because, you're getting your buddies to share, but that's what social media is about.
Yeah, I don't think, and it doesn't need to be, Yeah, I mean, it's fine that it's contrived, right? Because it's kind of the same as you going, hey, look, I'm in the newspaper, right? Which is what you're doing. And so, like, I don't think it matters. Like, I think it's equally important to everybody that, like, everybody understands how big it is to get talked about in the news. So I don't think anyone in social media is going to go, wow, that's disingenuous. Like, that Kenny, and he's being all, artificial and stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. It's really more like, oh my God, this is really cool. And then most people go, yeah, that's actually really cool. Like, I'll reshare that, right? So it's definitely good.
Well, you know me, what I did is I went and shared it. I shared it right away.
Yeah.
I put it on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook. I mean, why not? Shit.
Yeah. So I have questions now. So how did you, so did you reach out to this journalist and kind of get just talk to her about what was happening, or how did you do that?
So what happened with this one? I think because the legislation was just, this is about 3 months ago. The
Yeah.
legislation was just going through, and obviously it was all the buzz, and the dope stocks were going crazy, and yada
Yeah.
yada yada. Right?
Yeah.
I think it was one of those ones. I think she found us.
Yeah.
And said, listen, I see you got a cool thing. I think she was asking if it was an edible, and I said, no, listen, obviously it's definitely not legal at this point.
Yeah.
But what it is really a marketing, very similar to what Hershey's doing with 425, the O. Henry 425, except they're a multinational that really doesn't give a shit about much of anything.
Yeah.
And we're just little guys trying to have some fun and talk to a niche. I mean, they are too.
Yeah.
I shouldn't just. It's not fair. They're doing their thing too. It's just because they're big. I don't like them so much as if they were small like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be more happy if it was a small guy that was that we were competing with, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
But that was it. So she called and she said, "Do you mind talking to me?" I gave her a phone call back and said, "Absolutely." And so it was the same thing. Like, what are you doing? What you guys are thinking, or how do you want? What's the game, right? And that's so I just went through what basically our philosophy was. It wasn't about trying to get people to smoke more dope so they would buy more of our product. It was they're going to smoke it anyway. And when they do, I mean, you might as well at least have a relatively healthy option.
Yep.
That's still kind of fun to eat, etc. So that's kind of what our gig was. So
yeah.
But I was pretty happy about it. I thought that was kind of cool. What the hell, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool, and such a smart.
I wish they told us. That's all.
Yeah. But it's definitely and it's funny.
Well,
I've got a Google alert out for you, but I didn't have it. It didn't come up on the Google alert either. That's funny. But
that's
no,
weird.
That's really cool.
I know, and my name's in there, and the name of the company. So you think that something would flag.
Yeah, something would kind of pop, but I guess that happens too, right? So.
And honestly, I did a random Google search.
Yeah. So if you're a brand out there, like that's kind of the first thing of PR, right? Is you got to find that angle. Like if you notice what Kenny did, Kenny just like he basically found an angle and went, hey, listen, like it's bigger than me, right? It's about brands who can capitalize on this movement, and then kind of work yourself in there. So because when you send like self-promoting things to reporters, they tend not to engage, right? Because they can see the self-serving parts of it, and they don't want any part of it, right? But if you start to frame it in the sense of a story, like this is a pretty cool story in its own, and then it just so happens that Kenny and 420 is like at the heart of it, right? But good pitch though, really really
I
great
think what
idea.
It is what people need to do is just figure out what your story is going to be, right? We can make any story we want on this thing, right? We can go down the angle. It's just about making money. We know there's a market, blah blah blah. It's a little bit irreverent. Some of our branding, etc. I mean, that's I guess part of it. But if you go down the other side of the story, what you're really trying to do, figure it out. So if you're a pet store, then what are you really trying to do? I get you're trying to help people who have pets.
Yeah.
But what is it? Well, why?
What's it
about?
What's so interesting about it?
Are you a pet freak? Are you giving money away to SPCA or what's your claim to fame?
Yeah, it's
My 2 cents. I was pretty happy. I thought it was kind of cool to get picked up.
No, I like it. Right, and then it's funny because I've got two of these things going on, and they're very similar to yours. So one is a conversation I'm having with one of the brands. One of their competition just got some pretty big exposure in the marketplace, and so it kind of drove a whole discussion of how do we do that too? The Mutlux guys, their boots, right? And so one of their competitors just got featured on news in the U.S., right? Because when it gets really hot out, it burns dogs' paws, and so there's a policeman, that runs a canine unit somewhere in the south of the U.S. who basically, went on TV and went, I'm putting this other brand's boots on my dog because I want to protect my dog's paws from hot asphalt when we're out patrolling. And so it prompted a whole discussion, and we were talking about how to drive, that sort of thing. And it's funny because we were talking about exactly this, like how do you get, reporters and media to pay attention, and I think the first thing I said to them is, look, like, never mistake a marketing guy for a PR guy, right? Like, because PR people are different. They have contacts that, that are reporters and journalists and that sort of thing. And marketing guys are not necessarily the same. But you need a good PR person who's kind of always looking for stories and thinking about how you pitch things differently to media. Yeah, but I think PR is pretty timely, actually. PR is kind of a big thing right now. So
I think it is too. I think it's more the fact that people got to really. I think that it's just because of all the changes within all the platforms.
Yeah.
I think if you're waiting for like Facebook to save you.
Yeah.
Too much wine already. Facebook to save you, it's not going to happen anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you really do have to get ahead of it, and if you're going to go.
Yeah.
Right. Spend a little time, spend a little effort. Like if you do see we're in reference to, I don't know if you're going to be able to pick this up off the attempted recording last night, but if the Grasshopper article, the Global Mail.
Yeah.
Right. We had to hunt a little bit for me. Yeah, someone did contact us, but we pursued it back, recorded or talked about it. It got published, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But if you don't share it and do all that shit, I mean, it's for nothing, right?
Yeah.
A small business has to go out there and really make sure they do that.
Yeah, I think to that point, small businesses will have to do that, but I guess the first question back will be, how do I find the time to do that too? And the answer here might be, if you pick the right PR person, it might actually be worth your while, right? Like if you're a guy like you, right, or maybe a guy like me that we know the right people, or we know we run in the right circles where you can get some media attention potentially, or get a lot of shares out of things, then maybe it's okay. But if you're not one of those, hiring a PR person who has some history that can show, like, hey, I've got ties to, like, here in Toronto it would be Toronto Life or Blog TO, right? And then I'm sure Vancouver has the same, is someone like that who has ties to kind of those local magazines that can kind of get you some spotlight would be good too, right? So.
Well, there's tons of that. If you think about it, that's where most of the stuff's going to come from anyway, right?
Yeah. There's a brand I'm working with that got approached by Amazon to do private white labeling. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Working
could be dangerous.
Yeah, so we've been working through. I mean, the thing is with them, they're in a place where they could. With the Amazon white labeling, that pushes their volumes in a place where things get substantially cheaper for them. And so, we work through pricing and costing and how closely they need to be affiliated, and other things like financially, how dependent will you be on this, right? Because they were looking at the other way. They were looking at for people who don't know what white labeling or private label is, it's when you take your branded product, so let's say Kenny's the Drive Coffee, and then let's say Kenny makes it for Costco, and Costco brands it as Kirkland, or Walmart brands it as Great Value. And so they never make their own, those retailers never make their own stuff, including Amazon. What they do is they go out and find someone who's really good at it, get them to make it for them, and then the retailer provides the labels and kind of the branding piece that goes with it. So these guys were looking at as, what's the benefit to me? And I was looking at as, what's the detriment to you? Like, so at what point does do the scales tip so much that you're absolutely dependent on that volume? Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're gonna.
Well, that's your detriment. The detriment is that what happens is that, I guess, one of two things: that Amazon becomes 30, 35, 40% of your revenue. Yeah. Then you're not in a good spot.
Yeah.
Two, they become 30, 35%. So it's one of two things happen. They put the screws to you.
Yeah.
And try to get better costing, which you're inevitably going to do because you've just lost 30% or 40% of your revenue if you don't.
Yeah.
Two, Amazon's not stupid.
Yeah.
To figure out who made your product is not going to be rocket science.
No, it won't take long.
And if you don't think Amazon can go to someone else, and put money on the table, and basically finish your business, and then you're totally gonna lose that 40%, completely lose it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're done. There's no need for you. And I know they've done that to people. That one I know they've done.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean,
so to me, the
that's
cautious
history,
is
though,
that.
right? Like that's like they all do that. I mean,
you just need to manage that and
Walmart's
understand the game.
done it, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
But then why not control label it with Amazon?
Yeah.
Why white label it?
So I don't know. I mean, like, so those were the questions, right? Because they came to this brand and this brand said, all right, let's think about it. So they called me and said, what do you think? And I said, you know what, this is not a phone call. Like I need, we need to sit down and talk about it because there's a lot of pieces in here.
For sure.
Pricing is at the heart of it, right? Like, we went through, what does it cost you now? What could the benefit of Costco or Amazon be? And then what happens if Amazon pulls away from you?
Exactly.
How does that hurt your business, right? And
or not even pull away screw. Yeah. The screw's being applied.
Yeah.
And you can't pull away.
Yeah, correct.
Never mind them gunning you. Yeah. What happens to when you can't gun them?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and so to illustrate that point, right? So with these guys, we've built out a model, and so in year one, it's about 25% of their volume, right? And
it's up there.
Which is
it's up there.
It's actually quite significant right off the bat. And they said, "Oh, not so bad." And I go, "Yeah, but that's year one." Right? Like, so figure this out, right? Like, you're projected to grow on your own 10% a year. You throw the Amazon number in there, you're growing 15, 18%. If Amazon doesn't lose its mind, right? Like, if the Amazon thing takes off, which it might, and it doubles itself, now what are they at, right? And so year two, they went to 35, and then year three, they went to 44%.
Yeah, where the margins go.
Right? Yeah, and so I said to them, and they said, well, we're still making money on margin, we just won't make as much. And I said, look, like, it's a slippery slope, right? Like, if you make,
it's dangerous.
If you
Very
make,
dangerous.
25, 30 points after the Amazon thing in year one, you can only expect that to go down, right? Like, it's not going to be, it's going to go 25, then 20, then 18, and then when you hit kind of like 15-ish is when Amazon will probably come to you and go, I'm 44% of your business, you only make 15 points of margin, how about I make it for you, and I'll just pay you a licensing fee, right? And at that point, I don't know if you have a choice even, right? So,
or if they come to you and say, listen, we're just no longer interested.
Yeah.
Half your business is at a 15-point margin. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So now you're going to go back and beg the other people that basically you've been
and you can't
ignoring?
Yeah, you can't, right? Because you also, like, the cost, once you pull away, the cost of your product goes way back up again, right? Because you won't have the volumes to go with it, right? So it's all bad news. So we built this model. I don't know. I have to meet with them again this week to figure out what they want to do. But I was looking at it going, look, like, if you're in this for the short term or you want to get acquired, this might be the way to do it, right? Because you can throw an Amazon in your pocket, right? And you can go, look, I'm with Amazon, I'm with a whole bunch of big guys, and then let the new guys figure it out, right? But
even with that, then be careful where you go with the margins.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Like, totally. if I don't care what Amazon wants. What do you want to make? So let's say Amazon wants it at a 20 margin. I'm telling you the truth. I would go in at a 27.
Yeah.
And the only reason is because I know I'm going to be at a 20 within 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
Once the volume hits. But if you start at 20, where do you go?
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
You'll be lucky to make 12.
Yeah.
And now if you got half your business at 12, you know what the other half has to be?
Yeah.
65, 70, 80% margin?
Yeah.
Just to blend at a 40?
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, that's stupidity. You can't do that. I mean, I know they get excited, and I get it. But unless it's a short term, you're going to jump ship. Fuck, I wouldn't do it. Wow.
Yeah.
Come
so
on.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Like anyway, it's craziness, right? So I did kind of draw it out for them, and then having a look at it. So we're going to sit down and talk again this week. I think a lot of that, is like, honestly, it's all. If you heard Kenny just go off there, it's all pricing, right? Like, if you don't do the math right,
100%,
you're not gonna win this, right? These guys have been doing it; they know what they're doing. So,
and I would really do it the way you're doing it, Phil. Is I would say, okay, at 25% of my business, I'm going to get a 25 margin.
Yeah.
To get to 35, I'm going to probably have to be at a 21. Yeah. If I want 45 of their business, I'm going to have to be at a 20. Well, then you need to figure out, okay, with every time you increase with them and decrease your margin, that means you have to increase your sales and your margin with everybody else.
Yep.
So if you don't increase your sales with everybody else, that means your margin has to go up, which means now you're outpricing them relative to Amazon. So why would I buy from you? I'm just going to buy from Amazon myself and just resell their stuff.
Don't bother. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, it's better for me to go buy the white label and say, Phil, I can buy Phil's brand, or I can go buy Phil's brand that you're making white label for Amazon. I can buy 30% cheaper from them. What the hell's it? Why buy my shit from you? I'll buy from you, but I'll buy through Amazon. Now, 78% of your business is going to be a 20% margin. You happy, Phil? Nice trip, eh? You know, someone cut all the cables on the elevator, and away she goes.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. We've all done it. The volume is enticing, and you 100% need to consider it.
Yeah.
But get someone like you to build a spreadsheet. Simple Mickey Mouse arithmetic.
Yeah, you got to be really careful.
Increase this, decrease that. What happens?
What happens?
Because at the end of the day, you could quadruple your business and make the same pennies.
Yeah.
What is the win?
Yeah. To what end, right? To what end? Doesn't
again, if you want to sell it and you're selling it on a multiple, sure. What the hell do I care? Sure, light it up.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to sell a business. Right? I don't know who to go. Honestly, I don't know whose doors to knock on. If I got these headphones and I started going crazy, who am I phoning?
Yeah.
I phone Bose? Do I phone who am I calling? I don't know the hell I'm calling.
It's also not. It's really not that simple, right? Like you know, like all the merger stuff now it's so tight. Like the merger guys,
there's 5 guys, 6 guys. You're not in that circle.
No, and they really know they know the math, right? Like they
do.
They need like a couple equations, and they'll figure out what you're really worth, and then
it'll take them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they sit down. It's like, and I tell you too, and even if they talk to you, if you want to go buy commercial real estate. In Vancouver or Toronto, do you think anybody's going to pick up the phone call with Phil Chang phones?
No, not a chance.
If it's
even if I use Retail Phil as the moniker, not a chance.
Not going to happen. In residential retail, 100%, 50,000 real estate guys.
Yeah.
In commercial,
no, not a chance.
Sorry for all the women listening. It's a boys' club. It's a boys' club. It's a boys' club. And if you're not in that club, you are not going to get on the list. It's not going to happen. You think it's any different with mergers and acquisitions?
Nope. Not at all.
I don't know who the hell to phone.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, I would tell these guys, I think they should entertain it. I think it's a great idea. It's a cool option. But to me, as soon as I have a brand and someone wants me to make private label, I get the EBGBs because I'm thinking, it's not. My whole model was set up on fatter margins. Probably lesser sales. As soon as you go the other way, it's a completely different game. For example, do these people manufacture themselves or are they third party in it?
They third party.
Contract manufacturer. Okay, so now you're at the whim of the contract manufacturer. How about if the contract manufacturer figures out, oh my God, my business went up 4 times. Where's Phil selling? Phil's selling on Amazon.
Cut out
what
Phil.
The hell? Maybe I'll phone Amazon.
Yeah, I'll cut out Phil. Or you know what? Amazon will go, I just need the first invoice to show up. I'll know where it's from, and then I'm going to call those
I'll
guys,
phone Phil.
And then I'm done. Yeah, I know.
So again, not to discourage people. You want to do it. I mean, there's no. There's tons of money. It's a great decision. But just understand what the hell you're getting into, right? It's not. It's it's like everything in life. If it's that easy. Right.
Yeah. It's oh my gosh.
It might be too good to be true, right?
Tricky. Yeah. So super tricky. So
I get it though. I get it. I mean, I'd be excited too.
Yeah, but it's super interesting. So anyway, I mean, we'll go through it this week and figure it out, and hopefully I can guide them properly and get them into a space.
You can only guide them as much as they want to listen.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to do? You're going to put it all on paper. The numbers are the numbers. And every time they say, well, how do my sales go here? They're going to plug in that number. The spreadsheet's going to flow. And at the end of the day, the end number is the end number. If you're happy with it and you understand where the game can go and you still want to play. Yeah. What's the worst case? The worst case, what you and I are saying is going to come true, but you still made some money. Or the best case is that we're full of shit and we don't know what we're talking about. And you kill it.
Yeah. And there's ways.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, it's not apocalypse. Like there's definitely ways around it, but it's
it's not as easy as everybody says.
Yeah, I would tell you, if you ever worked in, for the guys that listen to us that are in big companies, like brands, right, that have dealt with the Costco's, the dynamic between a Costco and a Walmart
100%.
in the world. It's like a full-time job, right? It's a full-time job just remembering, like, why am I in this game, and how do I manage this to keep it a safe, kind of a safe ratio to my entire business, so that it doesn't, so the whole thing doesn't go sideways on me, right? So, but it is
because you got to
really,
remember, someone's got to watch the
Oh,
old
yeah.
business, right?
Yeah.
You still have all those nice little accounts that loved you at the beginning that may not love you as much now. And again, it's not.
Yeah.
The only reason I get really pessimistic really fast is because I know what people do.
Yeah.
They hear sales and they run.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you should run away.
Yeah.
Don't run to the light, run from the light. It's not your time.
That's hilarious.
We're in Portugal. We're close to Fatima, right? It's all good.
That's great. That's so great.
No, but you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Be careful, right?
Yeah.
You're going to do the dance. What did my dad always say? The little Italian proverb, right? You want to dance with the devil, dance. But sooner or later, someone's got to pay the band.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God. I love it.
Right?
I love it. Yeah. That's a big one. I think, I mean, that one's, hopefully I'll have some updates so we can talk about it next week too. But
I love that stuff.
These are
I find
super
it fascinating.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
And especially if they're people you like and they're good people, is more than anything is again, whatever decision you make, your big kids make the decision. Just understand the potential pitfalls of a certain path.
Yeah.
And again, their potential. You may go through it and kill it.
Yeah.
Or you can get killed.
Yeah.
What's worse, getting killed, making a mistake is not the end of the world. Making a mistake you didn't see coming is where the problems always lie.
Yeah.
If you know, if you're going into something, there's a path A, path B, and you go path A and it turns into B, as long as you know what the paths are, you can manage. But when they come at you from the other side and start demanding shit, you're thinking, well, I didn't think of that. I just thought I was going to do $1 million and sell it for 10.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's not working.
Right?
Yeah.
That's okay though. I mean, I hope they can do it. I mean, I think that's exciting. It's fun. Private label freaks me out a little just because of that, because I know Amazon's record. But if you can control label it, that'd even be more cool.
Yeah.
Right. So you own the brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you own the name. You just make it exclusive to them for periods of time. Yeah. So that in time, let's say they jam you. Yeah. That basically you can continue selling it somewhere else. At least that brand equity doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and again, I don't know if they have that option or not.
That's the other option is I've asked them the same thing, and I need that answer as well. Is so what happens if you don't offer them your original recipe? Why don't you offer them something exclusive to them?
Yeah, give them an Amazon recipe.
And give them an Amazon recipe that if they shut it down, so what? Right? You continue selling your stuff. The only part in there is you don't leverage the same synergies, right? Like you manufacturing wise, you're on a whole nother batch. You know what I mean? Like so.
It may not have to be a recipe change. I don't know what this product is, but let's say it's just a package change.
Yeah.
You have to do a new package anyway.
Yeah, you do.
But if you can keep the guts the same, but just the skin different.
Yeah.
You were going to do new skin anyway, so maybe that's a trick. Maybe it's maybe
that's the way to go.
Just reskin it, but skin it in a way that if it does go sideways, let's say they do quite well with it, and it's a brand that at least you own.
Yep.
Or if you don't own in the short term that you can take back when this relationship goes sideways, at least there's some brand equity and you've got a chance to keep going. But if it's their brand and they decide one morning, $100 million into the thing, saying, I'm just we're bored now.
Yeah.
Because now we're a $1.5 trillion company and we don't give a shit. Now
we've gone another direction.
Exactly. And then, and you know the game. Costco's done that. Walmart has done that. Loblaws has done that to people.
Yeah.
Even little guys. I mean, London's probably done it. I mean, I don't think we ever did it intentionally. But there's times where directions change and, people are coming to you saying, well, I geared up for that. You're thinking, well, I didn't ask you to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You're big kids. You made the decision. I mean, you might want, in my situation, because I would have probably told you could have asked me and I would have said, oof.
Yeah.
Listen, knowing me or knowing this category, I wouldn't do that. But if you so choose to, well, take your chances.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not to belabor this. I get excited about this, but sometimes I get very apprehensive like you do that I'm thinking, okay, take a breath of air.
Yeah. Like yay, right? Like yay.
Yay team, awesome, good.
Somebody recognized you, but
just breathe.
Yeah.
Just take a breath of air.
Yeah. Man.
Look at us, sound like old men. We'll be on a park bench in 30 years, cracking walnuts or whatever old men do. I'll sit there and have a drink with you. We'll talk about the old time. Hey, Phil, do you remember that time when we told those people, don't do that?
So I have a funny story to that point. I meet a bunch of guys. I've hung out with the same guys for, I don't know, like 30 years, since school, right? Mm-hmm. These are university buddies. We used to get together and grab beer together every couple of weeks or whatever. In the last 5, it's gone from beer to coffee. And now we're not even, now we're just, going to Tim Hortons or Starbucks to get coffee.
Pretty soon it'll be Tums.
And and then like this year, I think because I feel old man-ish, right? Because I've been growing my own tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that.
Good for you.
And except I showed up one of these coffees going, my tomato plants, they're amazing. You know what I mean? I was like, I came home and told my wife, I go, God, I'm old. Like, what the hell happened, right? Like, I used to talk about hockey and how that jerk, cut me off, and I went.
You still
and
talk
the
about
guy,
that. Oh, but my knees are so sore. You know how many Advil I had to take yesterday?
Yeah, God, I can't wake up after a midnight game. This is so terrible, God.
Hey, could be worse. See, our podcast will just morph over the next bunch of years. Pretty soon people will be turning into This Commerce Life, and they'll hear about, Phil, your tomatoes. They had good tomatoes this year. What do you think?
Yeah.
See, the thing is now, we're on tomatoes. Do you know how to actually grow a tomato? Do you know how to prune them properly?
I have no idea. I plant them. I water them. I make sure I water them every day.
You got to watch the shoots. You got to prune them properly.
No. This.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm a city boy. Like
if it's too much fruit, it's no good because then the fruit gets the plant's feeding too many.
Okay.
The trick is every time there's a shoot.
Want many. I want many.
Just shut up and watch my fingers here, okay? Because nobody can see this. When you got a shoot like that, right? So this is your main shoot.
Yeah.
This one here's got some fruit on it. Okay. Typically in the middle here, there's sometimes a little bud.
Yeah.
That'll grow another line with fruit. Yeah. You snip that.
Oh.
You don't want that to grow.
Oh.
Because now the plant's feeding this vine and this vine.
I see.
Every time, once you get I'm going to give you the example. About 2 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Every one that's got that little one growing. So right here, you got some fruit growing.
Yeah.
And this is your main vine.
Yeah.
Goes out. Up here, there's another one.
Okay.
Up here, there's another one.
Yeah.
Out. You get rid of that middle one because the plant spends energy feeding fruit. Okay. Those are going to grow fruit, but you don't need those.
Yeah.
Because all the plant's doing is trying really hard to feed 15,000 tomatoes versus 500.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
There's your lesson, okay? And trust me, I got yelled at by a lot of Italian men. Okay? Lots of people. Yelled at. Shovels thrown, screaming, just not pleasant people, okay? So trust me. I don't know much about anything.
Yeah.
But I know how to prune a tomato plant.
All right.
For sheer fear of God, I know how to do a tomato plant.
I'll do that next year because I literally this year was grow it. And eat some tomatoes. Like that's literally my goal. It was super simplistic. So
again, it's the Amazon thing.
Yeah.
You will get fruit.
Yeah.
100%. But you're going to get less fruit.
Yeah.
And less good fruit unless you do it this way. Trust me.
Hey, so this is
shovels
a great
thrown. It's very agitated people. Very agitated.
This is a great analogy. So this is how Amazon could be the third shoot in your tomato plant.
You got to be careful.
If you run product lines and this doesn't fit, and it's that third shoot in the middle, you got to nip that in the bud because otherwise you won't get the sweetest fruit. You'll just get a lot.
You're going to get a lot of fruit, but nothing's very good. Nothing yields great fruit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's the trick. A tomato plant's no different than business in general.
Yeah.
I want lots of branches giving me fruit. I get it. But I don't need 15,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to have maybe, usually in a tomato plant, there's 2 solids. There's the one main vine and usually one offshoot at the bottom because you've snipped everybody there. And then those 2 grow families of fruit, but you just don't let it go willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Right? Because your 2 shoots of one is Amazon and one's Costco. You still want fruit in the middle, but you got to manage. You got to manage everything, right?
Kenny, look at you! Look at you spinning a tomato plant into a retail analogy.
I don't know much about anything, okay? But I know how to grow a tomato plant. And I'm going to tell you right now, anybody who chimes in different, I'm going to get into an argument because I tell you, I've had my life threatened pretty much for these fucking tomato plants. So don't teach me how to grow a tomato plant. You can lecture me on a whole shitload of other things. Do not lecture me on how to grow a tomato plant.
I love it. I love it. This is the
Yell
title
back.
of this podcast. This one's going to be how retail is like a tomato plant.
Tomato plants and retail, same.
Yeah.
You should fear both.
What tomato plants and retail have in common.
Exactly. Italian people
Watch
behind them, ready to break a shovel over your head.
Yeah. Oh, I love
same.
Love it. Love it. It's fantastic.
See? There you go.
Yeah, we got to end on that. That's amazing. That's got to be right there.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm going back to drinking then.
All right, that's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.